What the? Hmm. Hello, Diane. And also, we got one person, and I'm trying to get my other YouTube going so I can view the comments a whole lot better. So, excuse me for um, being in the camera. Hey, Sheila, I haven't seen you in a long time. Uh, okay. Like I said, I'm trying to find my myself. Sounds weird, but yeah, I'm trying to find myself. And why can't I do this? Okay, that's not right. Um. Anyhow, how you guys doing? I'll just have to read your comments off the my phone since I'm having a bit of a problem. Is Diane D in front of Anna? I have no idea what that was. Sorry. Um. So, yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I really, really am. I forgot what I was doing today. So, oh, here we go. I found what I was doing now. So I'm a little bit better off. All right. So now I can see what's going on my screen and talk to you guys at the same time. Uh, let's see here. I don't want to hide chat. I want to make the chat bigger. There we go. Now I can see everything. So, Sheila, Diane, I'm glad that you guys showed up. I have 24 other people who must not want to say hi, which is fine. Yes, unfortunately, my Christmas stuff is still up. Um, I haven't really gotten around to taking it down for a lot of different reasons. Well, Sheila, I am enjoying my break. I am looking for at least a part-time job just to make ends meet. I'm having a little difficulty with unemployment, even though I'm guaranteed to get some. For some reason, my unemployment record or something like that is goofed up, and I got to go in there and figure out what's wrong and fix it. Um, so otherwise, my summer has been good. It's been kind of busy, or at least I'm keeping busy. So I can't complain. you know, life keeps on. Life goes on, and we're doing our best to roll with the punches. So, hey, that's what we're doing right now. So it's kind of funny. No, I don't want to play any music on my Apple Watch. Sorry, but I'm waiting until I get more people on here to talk with. Jerry's actually doing really good today. We got into our craft, or not our craft room, our guest room, and we did some picking up and cleaning and straightening and organizing. So that's really good. Excuse me, I'm just adjusting myself so I can see my screen a little bit better. Especially if the comments start coming real quick. So we're getting work done. Jerry and I worked in my office to get that done. So we should have a little bit more light on the subject. So that's been working out well. We've been doing house projects. One side of my face is going to be shadowed. I'm sorry, folks. Oops, that might be too much bright light. What? Okay, Ma. You're being goofy.
Hello. The mother who isn't.
Yeah.
Couldn't possibly be.
Nah, that couldn't be possibly the real Sally Henson. For,
No.
for those who have been questioning that, of course, I think it's kind of funny how two other people have tried to claim, "Oh yeah, I'm the real Sally Henson." Blah blah blah. No, there's only one Sally Henson who knows her son, and that was a lady who just passed. But yeah, this past week, Jerry had a CT scan done, and by all results, it's good. She's on the mend. Um, then we went to Dunkin' Donuts, and then we went over to Dollar Tree where I pushed her around Dollar Tree. That kind of wiped her out. So Saturday, or not Saturday, today's Saturday. Wednesday, she was basically not like no energy, but not enough to do any house projects. And then Thursday, we did house projects. We did my office. And then Friday morning, she had her physical therapy person come in, and she had her physical therapy in the morning, and then in the afternoon we just kind of took it easy. Today, we took it easy, but we worked on the guest room for a little while. Um, so yeah, shoot, I should have asked Mom to bring me another drink. Oh well, I'll just have to suffer. Um, so yeah, this week has been pretty busy. Um, wow. So I've got 37 people and only two people talking. So let's ask the question. Where y'all from? I know where most of you are from, but anybody new can always put where they're from. Anybody who's been around for a while can put where they're from. Don't matter to me. Um, I just like to know where everybody's from because I've noticed on my analytics that I'm getting a number of people from places I didn't think my channel went to. Australia, for one, New Zealand for another, Norway, which was like, oh wow, we got Norway. Hey, Kentucky, I've got. I think no, they moved out of Kentucky. I had a friend that lived in Kentucky for a while. I've got family in Ohio, the Akron, Worcester area. Um, those are nice places. Indiana, I've driven through Indiana a number of times. Northern Georgia, I don't think I've been to Northern Georgia. Utah, well, I don't remember Utah, but my parents were in Utah for a while. Um, Sheila, you're in Iowa. What else did you say? I'm sorry. Uh, have enjoyed your last couple of videos. Stay more positive. Thank you, Sheila. I really plan on it. Alabama. Now, I don't think I've ever been in Alabama. I think I've driven through Alabama once, but I don't remember. That was more like I took a bus from Georgia, and Georgia, I think, went through. That ride from Georgia was strange because it went from Georgia to Tallahassee to someplace else. I can't remember where, and then up through the boot hill of Missouri into St. Louis, where I took the bus from St. Louis to here, to where I live in Rolla, Missouri. It's a small town. Small town is trying to grow too big for its britches. It's a college town, so that kind of during the winter months of school season, our inhabitants, however you want to put it, doubles because of the college. But they're doing all kinds of strange things, tearing down old buildings, building new buildings, putting a roundabout on a main street to kind of control traffic around the college. I don't think that's going to last. That's not going to do it very good unless they have a better system than some of the other roundabouts they have here in my small town. One roundabout that has no lights, no traffic lights, the big heavy duty dump trucks and whatnot just drive right over the circle. It's kind of funny because I'll go that way sometimes to get to certain parts of my town and go, yep, we had a big truck come over, and just drive over it. Didn't want to go through the roundabout, just went straight. Um, the other roundabouts we have are, well, by the southern exit entrance point of Rolla, depending on where you're going. If you're coming from Springfield or Oklahoma area and you go into Rolla, you take that first exit into Rolla and you'll find yourself in a roundabout. No traffic lights. Yeah, just yield signs. Yeah, I've seen those ignored. But, you know, they do what they want to do. If you and Jerry are able to do a van life weekend trip, where would you like to go? Well, Sheila, we we're looking and waiting to see how Jerry's health is come like July 13th when she goes to see her surgeons, and hopefully the doctors go, "Oh, your leg's healed enough to start walking." The first thing we want to do after that is get her back, the spine, the two vertebrae that have been damaged by the cancer cells. She wants to get those zapped so those can heal quicker. And then as soon as the doctors say everything's getting healed, we are either going to, if I'm not back at work, because we don't know how long this is going to take, but we were thinking the first trip we might make just to see if I can do the drive, because I'm going to be the one doing all the driving, is we're either going to go to Ohio to visit my family or we're going to go down to Texas to visit our friends. We haven't made up our mind yet. We are thinking about our first actual attempt or trial run for sleeping in the minivan is just set up the sleeping system in the van right out here on our carport and just sleep there for the night. That way, if for whatever reason, comfort, anything like that, we need to come back inside and sleep in our own rooms or our own bedroom. It's too hot. The fans aren't keeping us cool. Um, Discomfort on Jerry's part. I might let her. I'll help her back in the house, but I might go back out there and sleep if I'm comfortable, because she has a different body temperature than I do. So we'll see what happens. Um, Nothing's really set in stone yet. Yes, it is a good idea to test it out because you're basically turning the back end of your minivan into a living area. You know, have to literally live out of the van. We do have a lot of solar energy powered lighting systems for inside the van. We're looking into the possibility of a generator with a solar converter. Um, that's all for the future, if we decide to go this way. You know, but that's what our plans are. In fact, one of the things that Jerry Ann introduced me to today is she had on her phone. She had a program for free from the Audubon Society, and you basically download it on your phone, and you can use it to, like, you're out and about. You want to go, oh, that's an interesting sounding bird. What kind of bird is it, and where does it come from? What is its habitat? You record the bird call, and the program tells you what kind of bird it is and where it's from and what its migration patterns are and all the information that I love to know about animals. So it's kind of like, oh, that's great. I wonder if there's a similar program that you take a picture of a particular type of animal and it tells you all about the animal. That would be awesome. I know when before Superstorm Sandy, I had just about every Audubon book you can get because they weren't doing. They had books on birds, mammals, trees, mushrooms, reptile, fish, basically everything that had to do with nature. Audubon had a book about it, and I had all those books, and all 12 of them were basically ruined thanks to the flooding in my house. But otherwise, yeah, things happen. You gotta just learn how to live with it, and I'm happy I did. Um, excuse me. Mm, yeah, it does sound awesome. I'm a big animal lover. Um I watch all these different people on YouTube that are they work at a wolf sanctuary or at a zoo dealing with wolves, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that. Sheila, your daughter's down in Australia. Australia's got some very interesting birds, especially the kookaburra. Now that's an interesting call because it sounds more like laughter than birdsong, but that's a kookaburra for you. Of course, they've got budgies and parrots and you know, cockatiels and you know all kinds of beautiful birds out there. Pink flamingos. I know it's like everybody's like, oh, we got pink flamingos in Florida. Well, they got them there in Australia too. Um, oh, in Sydney. Oh man, I've seen pictures of Sydney. It looks very beautiful down there. I've never been to Australia. I wanted to go multiple times. Just never had the money. Um, oh, you have an Amazon parrot? Those are beautiful birds too. Um, there was a competition that was on the Animal Planet where Steve Irwin was offering up basically to the winner of the competition a apprenticeship or job at his zoo in Australia up near Brisbane. And I just kind of went, man, why didn't I know about this before, you know, the event occurred? I just wasn't in the know back then. But I keep watching everything that has to do with the Irwins. I literally watched Bindi grow up and have her own little program. We actually, my wife and I watched her when she was on Dancing with the Stars. We watched her grow up to be an amazing woman and a great mother. Um, Robert, he's basically taken right after, you know, right after his own father and what his father used to do. So it's not that I'm envious. I just like, man, I could have been in Australia watching them grow up and working with the zoo and the whole 9 yards. And the only thing I'm worried about if I ever get down to Australia is they've got some of the most dangerous animals on the face of the planet on such a small continent compared to like Africa or Asia. I mean, 3 or 4 different varieties of poisonous snakes, 2 or 3 different varieties of poisonous spiders. Um, just, you know, some of the most dangerous sounding animals out there, especially if you don't know how to deal with them. you know, um, so it's kind of like one of those. Yeah, it sounds great. It's pretty. Seeing all the different wilderness shows and all that. And I'm just kind of like, no, I don't know if I want to deal with that. Sorry, we have all always been big Irwins fans. Yeah, Steve would be proud of his kids. Dallas. I've only been through Dallas. I've never stopped at Dallas. No, I take that back. I did have a stop in Dallas one time going to Houston via bus. But every time Jay and I drove down there, we drove past Dallas, not through Dallas. Um, I might have actually had an airplane layover in Dallas for about an hour, but I've never seen Dallas for its picture. You know, they talk about all the beauty in Dallas. Of course, more people know about Houston than Dallas because Houston is not Cape Canaveral, but has one of the NASA launch pads or something like that. I think that's Houston. Or is it Houston where everything launches and it's Florida where everything lands? Can't remember where Mission Control is. yeah. But I'm not a big space person unless you're talking about like Star Trek. But I've been to a lot of places here in the States. A lot of you know about places I've been to. Born in the Philippine Islands. Mom and dad were American citizens. Dad was a GI, so I had dual citizenship until I was 18. Then gave it up. Well, I didn't really give it up. I didn't know about it until after the fact, because one of the things on my dad's desires after if he passed before I turned 18 was I became an automatic American citizen, full blown, without the choice of dual citizenship. Even though I've been told people have applied for dual citizenship. Um, Drove back through Dallas in 74. 74, I was 3 years old. We were in Tucson. We were Tucson, Arizona in 74. I was just a wee babe. I think it was Tucson we were in 74. Yeah. A lot of things happened that I only know stories about, so. And I don't remember that much from back then. I was too young. I know to a lot of you, oops, sorry, I kicked my stand. I know to a lot of you, I'm just a babe still because I'm only 50. How hot? Oh, how hot? What has it been in Dallas? Well, that's for Deb to tell you, or no, Dave. Sorry. I know how hot it was in Arizona, or how hot it is in Arizona. In fact, here in Missouri, we were actually given a heat advisory for tomorrow. The index is supposed to be like 106 or something like that. And I'm like, 105 today. I believe it. Margaret, California. What part of California? I had family in. It was one of the suburbs of LA. So, sorry, my computer wants to go into sleep mode if I don't tap it every so often. Yeah. Thing is, I think it's that Houston is pretty close to the ocean, so they get that minor humidity index. Does Dallas get a humidity index, or is it a dry heat like Arizona, like Phoenix? Phoenix was like, "Ugh, but it's a dry heat, yeah." And you know why they put skeletons on the shirt when it says "but it's a dry heat"? Because it's so dang hot out there, it melts the skin right off your bones. Um, but heat index of 111. Yikes. Um, Dallas much less immunity than yeah, but not as dry as West. Yeah, Arizona. Yeah, Te- West Texas, Arizona. I didn't know Arizona had a town called West Texas. You know, I don't know all the towns, but I know you know Gila Bend, Phoenix, Mesa, Prescott, Flagstaff, Tucson, Sedona. But I'm glad you guys are talking amongst yourselves. Um, is there anything you guys want me to talk about specifically, or specifically? Um, I know a lot of my videos have a variety of things I chat about, but they're usually about what's going on here at the house with everybody's health and whatnot. Um, any plans for cooking videos? You know what, David? I've been thinking about that. I do want to try to get back to doing more cooking videos. I stopped for a while because I was having issues with camera angles and such as that. Um, so I am hopefully planning on doing that some more during the summertime. During the school season when I'm working, it's kind of really hard to do cooking videos because I get home from work. I want to rest and relax, and then do dinner, and sometimes I just forget about setting up the camera and whatnot. Um, we were doing what is called a meal plan called Every Plate, where they literally you choose the meal options and they send you um, the ingredients, and all you have to do is make it following the instructions. Um, I was thinking about, hopefully being able to get back to that, where I started getting those boxes. They were not they weren't that expensive. It was like $5 a plate, and or $5 a meal or something like that. And the more people you were serving, the more it might have cost. For us, it was like $5 a plate for 3 people, so 15. Whoop, sorry, I keep on kicking my camera stand. I'm sorry, too close to it. That's why. Um, but $5 a plate you couldn't beat. So, oh, mom's on. Mom is online, and she is trying to remind me where we were on certain years. Utah in '74, Tucson in '75. Okay. Um, how is the redecorating of? I'm almost done. I'm about 10% away from being totally and utterly complete in my office. Um, Tuesday when we were working in there, we consolidated Jerry Ann's stuff that was still in there, her Harry Potter stuff, packed it up in a storage tote to be put in the utility room, and basically got the floor area cleaned up. So um, all I have to do is just hang up a tapestry, the floor, clean up my decor, basically, and I'll be done. Um, that will take me maybe 2.5 hours, depending on hemming and hawing and whatnot. So, oh, we loved Tucson when we were there. I mean, Dad took me to show me old Tucson, where they did a lot of the different Western movies with John Wayne. John Wayne was like, we were a big fan. My father was a big fan of John Wayne. I am too. In fact, my favorite movies, one of, well, one of many of my favorite movies by John Wayne was McClintock. I love that movie. The Quiet Man. She wore a yellow ribbon. El Diablo or El Dorado. El Dorado. Um, he did a lot of great Western movies. I wasn't really all that big in some of his war movies, especially Sands of Iwo Jima, because he died at the end. Wasn't I'm not a big fan of it when he plays the has to be the one who dies. It's one it's one thing when other actors have to die, but man, every time I watch a movie with John Wayne dying or getting seriously hurt, and could have died in the movie, it just kind of makes me go, why did they have to do that to poor John? But um, I can't say much about Utah. I don't remember anything of Utah except for stories that mom and dad used to tell. Excuse me. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say now. It happens a lot because I'm watching you guys communicate, which I think is great. Um, because there are things that you guys know that I don't know, and you know, lots of Red Rock Mountains. Yeah, um, that's what I heard about Utah. The arches, the natural arches in Utah. I've seen pictures and videos of that area. Seems very nice. Um, Mom is not a desert. Well, I shouldn't say mom's not a desert person. I'm not gonna talk for mom. I'll let mom talk for herself. Um, any other questions you guys might have? You know, I love answering questions. I really do. In fact, the two questions I answered in the video is supposed to be coming up. You know, did you ever watch sorry, uh, old shows like Columbo? No, I wasn't really into Columbo. Hi, Chris. Um, sorry. I wish I could put a picture of my view. Oh, okay, Angie, you must live in Utah. Um, or at least that's the way it seems. I never watched Columbo. Back in the 70s, it was before we went to Germany. It was like Battlestar Galactica, other TV shows of that nature. When we got back, it was A Team, Airwolf, Knight Rider. Geez, I can't. Then of course, my shows evolved into watching like NCIS and CIS and a lot of those kind of shows. How's Jerry? Jerry's actually doing well. She before I started this, we did her wound treatments. So she's all basically padded up with the gauze and whatnot, and she's laying down and unwinding basically. She came out to eat with us after we did work in the guest room, so she's actually had a fairly decent day. Um, Whereabouts in Utah? I don't know that much about Utah, but I get curious every so often because of the a lot of the different pictures I've seen of the different tourist areas. Um, so I always get curious about other states. I wanted to move at one point in time. I wanted to move to Colorado um, for a number of different reasons, but one of the biggest reasons was because one of my favorite authors from my high school days lives up in the Colorado region. 66 people, yay! You know, I love it when I get a lot of people in my room to chit chat. Um, but like any chit chatting, a topic has to be decided, and I'm letting you guys ask the questions. Um, I had a few questions that I answered on my daily. What are your thoughts on? Wait a minute. What are your thoughts on ghosts? Do you watch? Yes, I watch a lot of ghost paranormal type, like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Asylum and Tennessee Wraith Chasers, Haunted Minds. I do believe there are ghosts out there. It's just you ha- you have to be very in tuned to your environment to react with them if you can. Not all ghosts are real. Some ghosts are what some paranormal psychiatrists would say are recordings of a violent or intense emotional um, event from the past. Um, some ghosts, like in the Ghost Mine that I won, the one season they did the only season they were up and about, they did a mine up in, I forgot where, but it was up north, and they did a brief discussion about a mine in Phoenix, Arizona, where they were legend of a blue demon was there, and sometimes those ghosts are there to protect um, interlopers or protect the mine itself. Angie, you lived close to Hill Air Force Base? I don't know if my father ever was there. Mom would be able to answer that one. Sorry. I watched The Haunted Side and the new reality. Oh, okay. Interesting, Sheila. I've never heard of them. You say they're on YouTube? I might have to look it up. Yeah, mom and I are not exactly desert people, but mom is not exactly a mountain person because it's too cold up there in them mountains. Um, I love the mountains. I mean, I would love living up in the mountains. I've always dreamt, shouldn't say always, but I've been dreaming lately of, you know, being in Norway, overlooking the fjords, you know, up north, just slightly north outside of Oslo. There's some beautiful mountains and countryside there, but mom would not want to go there, let alone go back to Germany because it's too cold. Getting people iced up. Okay, I don't understand what mom meant about that. Um, Chris M. There are quite a few haunted places within 50 to 70 mile radius of you. Yes, I've heard about them. I've never gotten to go. In fact, right outside of town, there's there's an old graveyard that they call the Goatman's grave or something like that, and it's supposedly haunted with something not exactly friendly. I've never been there. Then, do I believe in UFOs? Well, that is going to be a difficult one to answer because I'm like I've seen footage and whatnot, and I've heard stories, and I can't say yay or nay. So I just that area I stay out of. Have you ever seen a UFO? No, I've not. Let's see here. Saw my dad after he passed away. Yes, I saw my dad after he passed away at the foot of my bed, and I had a bunk bed at the time. So yeah, seeing my father at the foot of my bunk bed just kind of made me go, "Why are you here?" Let's see here. We are doing very good, Maya. I think that's how you pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Joy, you have family in Amsterdam? That must be awesome. Do you ever get to go to over there to visit them? Because I mean, the countryside is great. Um, okay, so you've heard of the old Goatman's grave. All right, David, Jim, do you think our country will become less divided at some point? You know, I hope it does. I really do because I think what makes other nations, um, the great nations that they are, um, is because of the fact that the people are more unified than a lot of the people here in the U.S. The problem with the U.S. is we've got too many people who are just don't see the don't think it would be good to be more integrated, more sociable, having more social medicine and taking care of each other and being on equal footing and not saying, "I've got money, so I'm better than you." Money don't mean squat. Color don't mean squat. Nationality, if you're uh, just about 100, yeah, just about 100% of Americans, except for Native American peoples, are from a foreign country. So they have their their ancestral way of living. They have their European style of thinking. Um, America is literally the melting pot of the world. The problem is we just cannot find a way to get along and coexist. I'm hoping one day we will finally get the picture and go, oh, um, yeah, we're all Americans. Why can't we treat each other properly? But that's just my point of view. No, I have not been. Okay. Margaret says, Jim, how are you doing this evening? I'm actually doing pretty good. Jerry's been doing pretty good. We've been trying to keep busy in cleaning up the house. Unfortunately, sometimes when Jerry does too much, the next day is kind of rough on her body. Um, We all just need, yeah, exactly, Sheila. We just need to love each other and put aside our differences, no matter what they are, whether it's something as simple as skin color. I mean, if you ever saw me in the sunlight, in the light of day, you would be like, "Boy, you need some sun. You are neon white." That's because my ancestry comes from the northern part of Europe, and this is how we look. Um, I've had friends in my past. I didn't care what color they were. I didn't care what their color, their ethnic background. I didn't care about anything. In fact, that's one of the things I liked about living and growing up in the military. We didn't see in the military racism, religious difference. We all knew in the military, hey, you got my back, I got your back. We're buddies. We're friends. And that's how I grew up. I did not know that racism was a thing until after my father retired while we were in Mesa, Arizona, and there was a comment made, and I don't remember if I made the comment or not, but they were like, "Oh, you're racist," and I'm like, "What? What's that? What's racism?" I didn't even know what the term meant at the age of 14, 15 years old because I didn't know the difference until after the military, and after Dad retired from the military, I didn't know. You know, so it's just to me, America should be a bunch of people who have citizenship. Don't even mean that. I don't even care about citizenship. Just a bunch of people who live in the same country, and we should be all for each other, all for our country, defending our country, working for our country, doing whatever we can do to make our country a better place for all citizens. Because to me, if you've been living in America for more than 5 years, you're a citizen. I didn't consider myself a citizen in Germany. We were there for 3 years. I knew enough of the language to get by. Yes, David, everybody needs dignity and respect. Um, yeah, we all deserve it. Now, come on, computer, quit doing that to me. Uh, that's how America should be. We are. There's so much about America that we're blessed, and it exactly, Chrissy. Um, After 9/11, New Yorkers came together. You know, they're starting to kind of fall apart, but for the most part, 9/11 brung New Yorkers together in such a way that probably would not or could not have happened without a tragedy. Unfortunately, it just that's the way things were at the time. Thank you so much. So okay, Tucson for the weather, Germany for the view. Yeah, mom. Um, I could probably live in Germany now that I'm gotten used to living in cold areas. Oh, you lived on Staten Island? Okay, yeah. We lived, or Jan is from Island Park, New York. Um, that's where we lived until Superstorm Sandy. So I understand how things work because I was there. We actually there's a hill that comes out of Island Park if you go a certain direction that you can overlook the bay area, see across the water, and see where the Twin Towers stood. And we got a call that told us about what was happening, and I moved, or not moved. I went up where me and Jerry went up to that hillside, and we could see the buildings on fire. It was a really tragic event. It's at its worst since 2020. What has happened in the last 2 years to make it so terrible? Hello, Rebecca from Southern Connecticut. I think that is. Moved to New Jersey in 2014. You moved to Jersey. That's not a very far move, but hey, You wanted out of New York, you got out of New York. That that's the only thing that matters is you moved because you wanted to. We moved out of New York not only because we wanted to after Hurricane Sandy, but I'm an only child. My mom, we were concerned about my mom being alone when she starts to get up there in age, so we moved. We moved here and then ended up moving together in the whole 9 yards. No rules on arrests? Oh, wow. That's crazy. Connecticut. Connecticut's a nice little area. I had to drive there once when I was working for Toyota. I had to go take a um, RAV4 up to a dealership in Connecticut and trade it out for a Prius. And I tell you what, that Prius moved faster and handled better than that RAV4. Um, the RAV4 is basically a four cylinder, or as we call it, a four banger, and it had no guts, no glory. Well, yeah, I hope for the people of New York who can't get out, I hope it um, gets better. Really? Okay. Hold on a second, I can't read that. San Diego, California. I don't think I've ever been to San Diego. Um, if we did, I don't remember it. I hear San Diego's got some good, San Diego SeaWorld. I think it's San Diego. I've always wanted to go there. Um, don't know why. Unless it's because of the factor they did Star Trek: The Voyage Home there. That's the only thing I can think of that would have me going to San Diego. Um, Born in Oregon. I hear Oregon's pretty beautiful too, and I kind of want to go up there just to see it. I have a cousin who lives in or just outside of Seattle, Washington, unless he moved. But I know he's somewhere in Washington. Last place I knew about was Seattle because he was a naval officer based in Seattle or based out of Seattle. Um, I'm jealous of him because he does a lot of Renaissance fairs. He does woodworking and mead making. Teaches classes on how to do that. Grew up in Springfield, Ohio. Still have home there. Um, so yeah, Ohio is a nice place. I've got cousins up there in the Worcester region, Worcester Akron type area. Um, and go to the Real Bagel. Okay, Chrissy, I'm not sure. I must have lost you. Oh, went to visit San Diego because there's companies and go to the Regal. Okay, Regal. I'm sorry. That's one thing. I'll say this much. One thing I do remember about, or loved about New York, I should say, was their food, their bagels, their Chinese food. You can't get anything like that anywhere else. Let's see here. Um, you should learn to make mead as a hobby. Well, Sheila, I've been trying to get my hold of my cousin so he can teach me how to do it, so I can make my own mead. I do love it. It's a good drink. Um, and depending on the season and the ingredients, depending on, like, they have winter and summer, so they have different. Uh, yeah, you can't get a good bagel outside of New York. I'm sorry. After having New York bagels and New York Chinese food, can't get anything like it anywhere else. Even the decent Thomas bagel, six in a bag, still does not. No, I used to remember in the mornings going to local delis and getting, yes, Italian food too. They've got some really good Italian food. Um, Going and getting a fresh everything bagel with scrambled cheese, ham, ketchup, and pepper, and that would be my breakfast on most days for like 2.50, $2.50. Oh, could not get any better. Um, I do want to go to Mount Rushmore. I do want to go to places. There are several national parks and places that I have not gone to that I want to go to. Redwood Forest, Mount Rushmore, things of like that. Wendy, Chicago does have its good fair share of Italian food that you can't shake a stick at. Yeah, I know. I know. La- My sister-in-law, last time she came out here, she brung, she went and bought 3 bags of fresh bagels. 3 bags worth of bagels. A little bit of everything. Everything bagels, egg bagel, cinnamon raisin bagel, and it cost her a fair penny. I'm like, how much did it cost you? I'll pay you back. She's like, no, no, you don't owe me nothing. I'm like, are you sure? You had to travel on a plane with this stuff in a suitcase. Um, that and the fact that she was able to put certain Chinese food items in lock and locks and bring them on the plane, put them on the plane, and I'm like, oh, you didn't have to do all this, but thanks. Um, yeah, all the bagel stores were open 24/7. I remember that. I remember that because I used to work nights. And I used to come home at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that was my first stop after getting off the bus. Bagel. Get off the train. I'd go and get a couple bagels. Come home. Make egg sandwiches at home. But yeah, I love freaking New York bagels. I'm actually kind of happy Jerry. Well, not like I didn't want Jerry to be on here tonight because I didn't want people to start causing trouble. But Jerry would tell you about her, bagels and her her what they called her their nan, their grandmother used to give them like 50, 60 cents when they were kids. Go across the street because there used to be a bagel place right across the street from the house. Go in there and get a not a bagel, but a buttered croissant. Wrap that up in plastic, bring it home. She would stuff it in the couch where she slept because that's where she wanted to sleep. I don't know. And she would eat it the next day, slightly stale, and that's the way she liked it. But the thing is, New York bagels, New York croissants, freshly made at the bagel store, they don't get stale overnight. It takes a good 2 or 3 days for them to get truly stale because the outside might be crusty and whatnot, but the inside was still nice and chewy. Um, yeah, she knows she's a New Yorker. Yeah, she is a true New. She is a New Yorker. She's a New York transplant. I'm guessing you guys, Margaret, Sheila. I guess guys are talking about Mount Rushmore, the Italian bread. Oh, don't even get me started on that. I used to work at a grocery store called Stop and Shop in Oceanside, New York, and right next door was I think it was called the Coco's or something like that, pizzeria. On my break, I would go into that pizzeria, get a slice of fresh made pepperoni with 6 fresh made garlic knots. I could live off of garlic knots if I ever had to, especially if they're New York garlic knots. I mean, ho, 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 ho. But a slice of pie or a slice of pizza in New York, freaking big old piece of pizza. That was it. Was here in Missouri it's like this. In New York it's like huge. One slice is enough to feed a kid. You know, the ship They ship, they ship the water here to some of the stores that opened here in my neighborhood. They ship the water. Oh yeah, I don't know what it is about New York water, but it's like okay. It there, however, whatever it is about water in New York, when it comes to making food, it's like most people think, ew, New York water, that's nasty. The Hudson is muddy. Well, I don't know where they get the water for making the restaurant stuff, but it's good stuff. Can't really shake a stick at it. But that's one of the things about New York. Is like you can go in and get fresh Italian, you get fresh Asian, you can get fresh bagels. Um, you know, I don't really talk about the Jewish people that often, but I have to give them kudos because um, I've been to several different Jewish delicatessens and restaurants on Long Island, and I'll tell you what, I never thought I'd like Jewish food, but the first time my wife took me into a Jewish diner in Oceanside, I didn't know what to order. I really didn't know what to order because I didn't know what I'm thinking. My brain is thinking, okay, Jewish food, that's Mediterranean food because Israel is in the Mediterranean, so it's going to be some sort of souvlaki or, uh, some kind of strange food that I've never had before. And yeah, mom's been to New York for a little while. Um, my wife was like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I don't know." She goes, "Well, look at the menu. Ask me questions about the menu." And I'm like, "Okay." I Plainview. I know where Plainview is. I was looking at it and going, "Ooh, I haven't had one of these in a long time." And she goes, "What, Reuben?" I want a Reuben. I knew what the basics of the Reuben was. You know, Here comes my Reuben with some fries and a side of coleslaw, or some other kind of side, and I was just like, "Okay, it looks the same." Did not taste the same. The bread was fresh. Must have been made locally at one of the bakeries. Um, it was like, oh my god, I've never had something this good. And then first time I had a gyro or gyro, however you pronounce it, I was like, oh my word, this is delicious. Became one of my favorite things about New York was gyros. When are we going to pizza again until I can get a gyro? You know, Spanish food and long. Oh yeah, I have to say this, folks. New York has every kind of cultural food you can think of: Spanish, Creole, Cajun, Jamaican. cr- Uh, you name it, they probably have it somewhere in New York. Brooklyn. Oh yeah, Brooklyn bakeries. My brother-in-law used to live in Brooklyn, or a part of Brooklyn. He took us to a soul food restaurant. Yeah, chicken fried steak this big, covered in white pepper gravy. A dish about this big of collard greens. I'm not a big fan of collard greens, but man, whatever they were using in their food was like holy Christmas. And the plate was like more like a platter than a plate. I ate just about everything on that plate. And everybody was looking at me like, okay, he can eat some food when he wants to. And I'm like, y'all don't understand. I have not had some decent Creole food in ages. think the last time I had Creole food was back in Arizona, so that had to be 20 plus years not being able to find a decent Creole dish. Now, what also kind of got them somewhat like he's eating collard greens. Nobody else wanted collard greens. Jerry tries them. She liked them. I'm like, you guys don't understand. You put something in front of me that I really, really like. You're gonna have to get me out of the restaurant with a wheelbarrow because I will gourd myself until I cannot stick a single morsel of food in my mouth. And I tell you what, that was the way I felt in New York. That's where I finally got a belly. Cause you ever seen me pictures of me as a young man before moving to New York? I did not have a belly. I was skinny as a rake. I got to New York and got some real good Italian, real good, food. And that's the end of it. There goes my figure. Oh yeah. You want some real good Chinese food in New York? Go to Chinatown. Go to Little Italy. Go down to Jamaica Queens in New York and get Jamaica food, Creole food. You know, you want it, they got it. There was a place that we went to in, I think it was Little Korea or something like that, and they had Korean noodles and Korean style food, noodle bowls basically, and it was to die for. I've never been to New Orleans, Wendy, but I have heard they got some really good food down there. In fact, one thing I did try that came out of New Orleans was bunyips, and I liked them. That's right, Mom. We all want you to take it easy. I actually helped Mom earlier today. She was having some back issues, and I helped her finish making her bed. Because when I went in there to talk to her about dinner, she was in her office, just sat down, tells that she was doing something that we can, gave her some issues, back issue and whatnot. I said, well, I'll go finish it. And she goes, no, let's do it together because she has a certain way she wants to do things. And I'd rather help her so she's not running around the bed trying to do all four corners or all four sides by herself and running herself ragged. So I'm like, no, no, let me know. And she's like, I was like, nope, I'm not letting you, run yourself ragged just because. Yeah, slow is about the only speed she can move at right now. you know, which, hey, at least she's still able to get up on her own 2 feet or anything like that. A lot of people her age with her conditions and whatnot, they'd have somebody else doing it for them. But anyhow, this has been over an hour. Um, I really appreciate you guys being on here and talking and listening to me and all the fun we had today. I need to get off because this has been over an hour and it will take a long time to download. Just got to start watching, but I saw your mom, and she is a pretty woman. I mean, she doesn't want to admit, but she is, for her again for her age and her health and whatnot, she is still doing good. But I'm sorry, Sassy, that you're just getting on here. It's over an hour, and I don't want to take forever to download this video. Um, I'll go ahead and start signing off. Yeah, Sheila, it's been a while since I've seen you on any of my I've seen Nelly more than you, but yeah. Um, so I'll see you guys on the flip side. I will look at this later, read any messages you leave. Um, don't forget, go ahead and take care. Take care. I'm not done yet. Hi Tina. Sorry, I'm jumping off now. You guys can watch this later if you're just coming on. I'm sorry. Um, if you know if you want, you can watch some of my old videos. If you haven't joined and you want to, that's your choice. I really love to have people. I love questions. I love talking about things that I know about. Um, so please drop me a line, ask me questions, join my regular channel. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I will see you on the flip side. More videos will be coming. I'm not gonna stop this just yet. I'm having too much fun. So good night. See you guys on the flip side. Bye.